welcome. You're watching Financial Planner, and today we're going to be talking to Feroze about rolling returns and why that's a more accurate way of measuring a fund's performance. Feroze, investing in a scheme always involves trusting the expertise of a fund manager, and historical performance is usually an indicator that a lot of retail investors use before they determine the fund that they want to invest in. I believe your recommendation is that rolling returns should be a very important parameter in measuring the performance of a fund.
Yes, Samina, like you said, a lot of us, especially retail investors, end up relying on the decision of investment relies on the past performance of a scheme, and there is enough evidence statistically to prove that investor behavior is driven by past performance. If that's the case and 80-90% of emphasis is given to past performance, then at least we need to make sure that the performance measure is accurate and gives you enough inputs to take a decision. Firstly, there are two sides of the coin, return and risk of investment. So return, having been given so much emphasis, dwelling deep into it, understanding what are the ways of measuring return which are consistent, which are not distorted, is important. That's where comes the two methods of measuring risk return. One is trailing return, which is very popular but lesser effective in decision making. There is another one which is called rolling return. Very few people end up using rolling returns, but that is far more consistent with your decision making capability.
Right. Let's talk about both of them and then compare one against the other. You've already told us that rolling returns is probably a more efficient tool used versus trailing returns. But how does one use rolling returns? Can you tell us in terms of, with the help of an example maybe, of how this can be used? Or what is the simple formula, more like it?
Correct. Yeah, sure. See, let's first understand what is trailing return. Trailing return is nothing but the performance of the fund for a specific period backwards. For example, if I am sitting on 1st January 2018, if I want to figure out what is the last 1 year return, 3-year return, 5-year return, that's called the trailing return. So 2018 January is what I am trying to make this decision on. So last 1 year return is the total year, 1 year return of from 1st January 2017 to 1st January 2018. A 3-year return would be 1st January 2015 to 1st January 2018. And 5-year return will be 2013 to 2018. So these are called trailing returns. And this is what generally gets published: 1 year, 2 year, 3 year and 5 year, and so on and so forth. This is the more published number, that's the trailing return. So now that we have understood the more prominently used, now let's go to the proposed more efficient method, which is called the rolling return. Rolling return is required because every day there is an NAV which gets published. So it is not that it is on one specific day, the NAV comes once a year, but it comes every day. So that's one reason why we need rolling returns. The second reason is nobody actually precisely invests for 1 year, 3 year and 5 year. There could be some arbitrary time frame. So these are the two reasons why we need rolling returns. Now coming to an example to express what rolling return is to look at, now for example, you're looking at 3-year time frames and you want to find out 1 year rolling return. If you want to find out 1 year rolling return, you will have to start with having invested on 1st January 2015 and disinvested on 1st January 2016, which is 1 year return. Then move a quarter forward, 1 quarter forward. Then you look at 31st March 2015 to 31st March 2016. That's also another 1 year period. Then you move another 1 quarter forward and then you see 1st July 2015 to 1st July 2016. So on another quarter, 1st October 2015 to 1st October 2016. So you got several 1 year periods in the same 1 year, moving 1 quarter at a time. So you got 4 1 year returns rather than 1 year return. Now when you put this like it's shown on your screen, you would see that every 1 year return moving 1 quarter ahead gives you several observations, almost 12 observations, and the average return, if you look at only the trailing, is 15%, but if you do it rolling every quarter, the average return is 11%. So 15 as against 11, rolling return tells you 11%, trailing return tells you 15%. So this is a large dispersion. So rolling returns, understanding is critical. Reading more about it, understanding it, doing it yourself is important.
Well, that's what you need to know. And this is why Feroze believes that rolling returns is probably a far better and more superior mechanism of measuring the returns of a fund's performance. With that, out of time. Thanks for watching.